Welcome to the Unproductive podcast, episode 6, my friends. I'm Tyler.
I'm Erik.
And I'm Isaac.
We're gonna talk about our secret topic that we were supposed to talk about last week.
Yep.
But
now you know what it is.
Maybe.
Hopefully. All right.
I guess.
Swear to God.
What articles do you have, Erik?
Well, I got this one. It says, Star Wars Last Jedi, probably going back to some familiar planets. Let's hope.
Like what? Ooh.
I think it said Hoth.
Hoth.
Well, of course, Hoth. You have to have Hoth in every like Star Wars thing ever.
You need an ice planet.
Well, yeah.
There's more than one ice planet, too.
Yeah,
Hoth
there's
is the
like
most.
Not in movies.
Yeah. Well, Mustafar. Because it's gonna be kind of interesting because like since Rogue One had Vader's batch pad that he hangs out on Mustafar.
Kylo Ren will be hanging out there.
Probably. Luke will show up and like, this is where my dad lived for a while, you know, it's cool. Then Kylo's there. Oh shit. Then I think it's like maybe like Dagobah, or probably Tatooine. Cause
Does all make sense?
well, of course Tatooine.
Especially if it's going to focus on Luke a lot more. Just because.
Which I hope it does because
I would figure it will. So I can kill him off.
nah,
Ooh.
can't kill Luke.
They're gonna.
Also, cause like I like Rey as a character, but she's kind of boring.
She doesn't have any flaws.
I don't know. She's kind of boring.
Yeah, she's boring because she doesn't have flaws.
Oh,
That's what makes her character boring.
yeah, I guess that is a problem.
I'm perfect in every way. Lame.
I don't know. She did kind of keep up with Kylo Ren too easily in that fight.
Well, he was shot.
Doesn't matter.
I don't think that's the problem.
So I don't think he's that strong of a...
Hey, so I may be like minorly injured, and you've never picked up a lightsaber.
Minorly? Dude, he got shot with a Chewbacca bolt.
Okay.
Chewbacca bolt!
Okay, but still, but still, like, it's been a while since I watched the movie last time because I don't like it. Because if I'm gonna watch A New Hope, I'll just watch A New Hope because it's better. But like, hey, Rey, you never picked up a lightsaber before, so I may be injured, but I still should be able to beat you. Oh wait, no, I can't.
Also, I don't...
Well, that's I think that's what I'm saying. I think it's implied that she has some level of aptitude because she's probably a Skywalker and she's probably honestly used a lightsaber before. It seems like she had her memories messed with.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she doesn't remember... I mean, she doesn't really remember her family. It doesn't
That's
seem
true.
like.
I want her to be Luke's daughter.
That's probably where they're going with it.
Probably gonna
I'll
happen.
hope so.
I don't think Finn's Luke's son, so...
No,
He could be, but I don't think so.
I don't know. But like, I kind of want to think that, like, maybe Obi-Wan was helping her through the Force. I want to think that.
I don't know, but with the fight, they're kind of smacking each other with like weak lightsabers in a way, and like I don't think Kylo Ren is that strong of a Sith, anyways.
Well, he's not a Sith.
Or well,
He's
he's
Not that strong
he's
either.
not that. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Force potential.
Yeah.
Because he is a Skywalker.
because they're
So.
both pretty young during the stage, and like
But,
what Luke was like pretty far into his training when he was a fucking
No, he wasn't.
Only a couple of years, like 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. The reason, like, we're gonna drop some deep lore again. Woo. Like, Luke goes to Coruscant and like goes into the Jedi Temple and like uses all the holocrons in the temple, and like that's how he's able to learn a bunch of shit between 5 and 6. And then he like kind of just shows back up to Dagobah.
He has to build a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Yeah, very difficult. So he has to at least have gone to Ilum too. So, because that's where green lightsaber crystals come from. Is Ilum.
The deepest shit.
All right.
Hey man, I know a lot of stuff about Star Wars.
I know this gets your dick hard. That's why it's in this fucking podcast right now.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. What's your next article?
Got another Switch article because of course I do.
All right. You need to switch it the fuck up.
Is it gonna be fucking broken even more?
No, it's actually kind of good news.
Hey.
So I've been playing a game called Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight, which is a Metroidvania style game. And kind of also a game in that same vein, the spiritual successor Bloodstained is now coming to the Switch. So
that game looks pretty fun.
yeah, it does.
I didn't know it was a prequel to that game.
It's not a prequel to that game.
Well, it's made by the same people. I mean,
What do you mean?
Momodora is made by the same people that are making Bloodstained.
No.
You said it was a spiritual successor.
No, I said it's the spiritual successor of Castlevania.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's
He thought the same thing.
I did too.
Oh, that was my bad.
Okay.
That was my faux pas. I just
You have
wanted.
a fake dad?
No, I just
Christ.
I just wanted to mention Momodora because it's really good. You should play it.
We'll be playing it soon enough.
Yeah, we will. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's a Kickstarter game, much like Mighty Number 9, but it's actually good. Because the Igarashi's actually at the head of this.
Yeah.
So that's why it's good and not bad like Mighty Number 9.
Damn.
What?
I don't think Mighty Number 9 was bad. I just think
It's
people were
really
like,
It was bad.
is it really bad?
Yeah.
I
well,
just thought people were
Inafune was not like a lead designer and programmer and stuff. He's never directed a game.
Wasn't that game weird on it was too dialogue heavy?
I don't know, it was a lot of things,
Just why though?
and most of them were bad.
Yeah. Kind of a bad part to this though. The Wii U version got canceled.
That
Damn.
doesn't
Oh
surprise me.
no,
How could
not
they?
the Wii U version.
Well, anyone who doesn't want to buy a new console.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's on the Wii though. I think it's on the PC at least. I would have to. Oh no. Oh, but listen to this. Backers who had selected the Wii U as their preferred platform will now receive the Switch version automatically.
There we go.
But
That's nice.
oh, I mean, yeah, of course, but
Is there a release date yet?
let's see. First, game was delayed last September from a planned March 2017 release to the first half of 2018. So another full year.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I will never complain about a game being delayed. Ever. Because I would rather you delay the game and put out a good product than you shit out a No Man's Sky to me or you could run into the problem of Mighty Number 9, just oh, it's delayed again, it's delayed again, it's delayed again.
What the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say about this.
Alright.
Gonna piss a lot of
It
people
does
off
have
with the No Man's
it
Sky.
will have a PS4 and an Xbox One version.
Not surprised.
Well, yeah, of course. Those are the consoles that are out right now. So,
What's next?
here's an interesting bit of news.
Yep.
So, Ellen DeGeneres has created her own cartoon series to promote her. It's called Ellen's Pet Dish, and it's basically like advertising for her pet products sold by. Let's see. It's like Pet Shop or one of the. I don't know, PetSmart. It's by PetSmart.
Okay.
It's got the cast of Ellen's Pet Dish includes 3 cats, Chairman, George, and Charlie, 4 dogs, Wolf, Mabel, Augie, and DeGeneres, and
Nice.
DeGeneres and DeRossi's newest puppy, Kid.
My furry OC.
Oh, okay. So it's based on their pets,
Yeah,
but like a cartoon.
yeah.
Cool.
And she's shilling her
Her
pet products.
own products into it. That's something.
Hey, you know what? If she's making it, she can do whatever the fuck she wants with it.
Yep.
She's not like, hey guys, support my Kickstarter so I can advertise my shit. I think Ellen makes enough money to make her own cartoon series and put it on YouTube.
Dan Otosh did the same thing. He just didn't shell products in it.
With Brickleberry?
Yeah, Brickleberry.
So, you know why Brickleberry got picked up again, right? Even though it's fucking garbage.
No.
Because Daniel Tosh threatened to walk off of Comedy Central. Like, off Tosh.0 and everything.
They don't have,
If they didn't pick Brickleberry back up.
they don't have much to do. They lost fucking Stephen Colbert to.
They lost Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert. The only thing keeping that fucking channel afloat right now is Tosh.0 and South Park.
South Park has been keeping Comedy Central afloat for 20 years, so.
Yeah.
Right.
They better work their fucking ass off.
Like, I don't know how
That's why they let them do whatever they want.
Probably, yeah.
We'll go down as a network if you don't do this. Fair enough.
Yeah, we can't tell you no.
Making people angry is what we do.
Like, they could walk in and go, we're gonna behead everyone at Fox News on South Park.
Yeah, I think they've done worse than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah. I haven't watched South Park, like, in any, like, extensive...
The episode where Oprah's vagina and asshole, like, take a bunch of people hostage.
I know about Tom Cruise in the closet.
Yeah. He was pissed about that one.
Yeah, and then they called him a fudge packer in another episode. I probably got mad about that, too.
Choke a South Park writer with a fish stick.
Yep. Made Kanye mad.
Well, I mean, that's not hard to do.
No.
They called him a gay fish.
You like fish sticks, right?
It's just a joke.
I don't get it. That is delicious, crispy fish sticks relate to being a gay fish.
Well, next article here, because I don't have much else to say about the Ellen DeGeneres thing, because
Okay.
she can make what she wants.
Try it. Watch it.
She's like, there's like Oprah and then Ellen.
Watch her botch it.
Well, there's just more and more bad news for the Batman movie.
Why? What's that? What's...
Like, nobody involved wants to make it. Ben Affleck was like, I'm going to write, I'm going to direct, and I'm going to act in it. He's like, I'm not going to write this anymore. I'm not going to direct it anymore.
Has he ever written a movie? I know he's directed a movie.
I don't know if he's written a movie before.
They're two very different skills.
Yeah, oh yeah. And he's like, he's very, they say he's very ambivalent towards the movie. And like the guy who's supposed to play Deathstroke is like, so our, oh come on, where's his first name at? Oh, Joe Manganiello of True Blood and Magic Mike fame.
Nice.
Is supposed to be Deathstroke in the movie, and they're like, so are you gonna be in this movie? He's like, I don't know. Like, he doesn't even know if he's gonna be in the movie. Like, they're going back for rewrites.
This is a very ambiguous movie going on right now.
Like, they don't know when they're gonna start making it because the director's making War of the Planet of the Apes. He's like, well, I gotta finish this, and then we can start on this, and they're like, it's just not.
Sounds like our channel.
They should just stop. Warner Brothers, this movie is not... Nobody wants to be in it. Nobody's going to want to see it after that debacle of Dawn of Justice.
So is this like a Batman and Deathstroke movie, or what is it?
Well, it's Batman versus Deathstroke.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I couldn't stand...
Batstroke.
I couldn't...
More like stroke Ben Affleck's ego. Because that...
This just sounds like a fucking...
It's just a shitstorm.
Yeah. It sounds awful.
Like, it's probably not going to be, like...
Probably none of the DC... We've already had this DC movie conversation. So.
Yeah.
Then none of the DC movies are really that good.
Well, the Nolan trilogy is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, since then.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't understand why they're rebooting Batman so soon.
Especially after fucking Batman v Superman.
Well, it's that Batman.
Yeah. But I also have to say, like, I don't understand why they're rebooting Spider-Man so soon, too, but...
Because they're not going to use Garfield. They can't use Garfield.
Oh, no.
It's not... the good thing about it is it's not really like a reboot.
But Emma Stone was so good in that movie.
Yeah. Now she dead.
Oh, nah.
She's Gwen.
That's
You
sad.
know what that means.
She's dead.
When you Gwen,
You dead.
snap your head.
Gotta be
Damn.
quicker than that.
Damn. That's fucked up.
I know.
It's just
Gwen
like
Stacy was my first love. I can only
It's
express
just like-
my
it's
pain
just-
through
it's-
jokes.
it's just like trying to be Uncle Ben. Like you, I feel bad for you because you will never be allowed to live. Like they'll never kill Aunt May and let Uncle Ben live.
No.
Like shit. Peter won't even let Aunt May die. Like after she's 150. Like,
She's like, "Let me die, Peter." He's like, "No. Let
Mary
me throw away my marriage."
Mary Jane's long dead from his radioactive semen, and just Aunt May's still trucking.
She got shot by a sniper. He's like, "I'll bring you back."
Why?
Because he's Aunt May. I don't know. It's dumb. The whole story's dumb.
Like,
Did I talk about One More Day in the first episode of this fucking podcast?
I don't think so.
I'm not gonna. It's awful. It's bad.
Don't.
I'll give you the bullet points. Kingpin tries to kill Spider-Man, but he dodges the bullet because of spider sense, and Aunt May gets hit. She's gonna die. Doctor Strange can't fix it. None of the magicians can fix it. They're like, "She's gonna die, man. Just live with it." He's like, "No!" And then literally the devil, Mephisto, is like, "Bruh."
Hey.
He's like, "Hey, bruh, if you give up your marriage, your love is so pure. If you give me your marriage, I'll bring Aunt May back." And then he's like, "Okay." And then he does.
Okay.
Because the writers didn't want Peter and Mary Jane to be married anymore because they don't like her.
Damn. Hate this bitch.
Why not, like, how cool would it have been if he, like, Mephisto turned Peter into Ghost Rider? Hey, if you be a Ghost Rider, I'll bring her back.
Spider Rider.
Spider Rider.
I had to think
Okay.
about that one.
I don't ride motorcycles. I ride spiders.
Well, in the Ghost Rider movie, the one Slade, I think his name was, is like he was like riding a fire horse, which is hype.
Oh, the older Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that was hype. He's
Yeah.
like, I got one more ride left in me. He's like riding a fire horse. Man, that was a good movie.
It's all right.
Are we done with this
the second
article?
one was bad.
Let's
Nah.
not get into it. We're gonna fucking blow it.
Nah. Yeah, this is basically like it's just a debacle at this point. It's like don't make it Warner Brothers.
Just watch it. Just throw it away.
They
Come
can't.
back.
They've already spent millions of dollars on it, I'm sure.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Can I
well,
take
yeah.
this back? No.
No, can't recoup it. Just release it.
Can I get a refund? I have the receipt.
Just release the test footage and maybe recoup some of your costs.
Ad tag it, put it on fucking YouTube. You'll make a couple pennies.
Yeah.
A couple pennies. 2 pennies.
Woo!
Getting rich.
Warner Brothers could print money if they wanted to at this point.
They probably do.
That's what that.
Warner Bucks.
That's what that Batman suit's made out of. Printed money.
Dollar bills.
All right, is that all for that?
It's dollar bills and Martha and Martha's tears.
Mon Pocket.
Oh yeah, this article's done. It's
All right,
it's bad.
no more articles.
Nah.
You only had 4, right?
Yeah.
All right. You know what time it is, my
Well,
boys.
wait. I gotta add something. There's an article on the side of this. It's called "Netflix is getting rid of Buffy, Angel, Arrested Development in April."
I saw that about Arrested Development, which is weird because they're the one who greenlit season 4, so that makes no sense. It's like
That's absolute fucking. That's insanity.
Those are 3 of Tyler's favorite shows.
I
that
just-
Netflix is.
I know it's fucked
I
up.
literally just watched season fucking 4. You gotta be kidding me.
Tyler's like,
It's Always Sunny is next, and then I won't have anything to watch on Netflix.
yeah. I mean, like there's a few anime that I watched on Netflix, but like I don't watch anything on there.
I mean, I watch.
Anime's weak on fucking Netflix though.
They had Kenshin though, so
There's
it's
some
pretty
good
good.
stuff.
They had
Yeah.
Kenshin.
I watched about like 7 Deadly Sins, and that's about it.
They have
Yeah.
Kill la Kill,
Yeah.
Gurren Lagann,
Yeah.
Monica, and all the movies.
They have
Yeah, but I can just watch all that stuff on Crunchyroll. And,
I know. I'm just saying Netflix has it.
Right.
It's not like every anime on Netflix is bad. It is on other websites, and it does
Yeah.
have less than Crunchyroll, obviously. But
Yeah. Crunchyroll's better anyway.
has a gym, I think, which is that new weird anime
I don't know anything about
with
it.
with the same art style as the Berserk movies.
Oh, I think I kind of know what you're talking about, but not really.
Demi-human or whatever. A Gen demi-human.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right, are you guys ready
For
motherfucking JoJo's Bizarre Fucking Adventure?
JaJa.
JoJo.
let me hold on to my asshole because I'm so hyped right now.
This phantom blood.
Ooh.
One's too hot.
Too deep.
Okay.
Goes deeper than fate.
So yeah, we're talking about phantom blood today as our topic.
The weakest part.
Hey, why you gotta make judgments? It's 1987. We're little Japanese boys.
JoJo.
We're little Japanese boys, and we just want some vampires in our lives. There's no part 2. But let's
Not
ignore
yet.
that for a minute.
Woo.
How do we get into JoJo? Who wants to start?
I guess I can start because I was the first one in the group to get into JoJo.
All right, go for it.
I watched the two best friends play quite a bit, and they talked about JoJo a lot. They mentioned it a lot, and I was like, ooh. I think it was around 2013, so the 2012 show had just like came out. It was like still kind of coming out, and so I had Crunchyroll at the time. I was like, let me look up this JoJo's Bizarre Adventure thing. It sounds kind of hype. So I watched it, and I'm like, this was cool. And I was like, I didn't watch part 2 as it was coming out. And then I kind of got back into it about a quarter of the way through part 3. So I just rewatched part 1, watched part 2, and then got caught up, and then kept on it, and then I just stopped watching. I didn't watch part 4, so I need to get caught up on it. And I was like little child me in high school was like, hey Tyler, you should watch this thing. It's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's really hype. It's got vampires and like kung fu and shit in it.
Yeah.
Before the neckbeards.
And then I was like, damn. We just have little single hairs
It was
running
like,
off of our chins.
weird scraggles.
So, yeah. Then I
And Isaac wasn't born yet?
hopped on that manga train.
Yep.
And
that mangoes.
And I've read all of it now, so I think I'm like 10 chapters behind on JoJo, and I haven't touched it in like 8 months or so.
Yeah.
But it's hard to read month to month. It really is.
Well, yeah, you gotta read One Piece.
I don't read that either. I read it by arc.
All right, Isaac, how did you get into it?
So, I was not an enigma at the time of middle school, but I was around the time we were getting out of high school. I was like, I've never heard of JoJo before. Tyler flips his shit. He's like, it's the coolest shit ever. It's got vampires. I'm like, this dude's crazy.
Vampires in an anime.
And a stone mask. And a stone mask that turns people into vampires. I'm like, this dude crazy.
Nani?
And then I watched it, and it fucking blew my mind. I was like, damn.
Changed your life.
Dio, damn. Kick that dog, damn.
Yeah, Dio's an evil motherfucker.
We'll get to Dio.
Get to
all
Dio.
right. So is that all you got to say about how you got into it?
That was basically a domino fall, basically. You got into it, Tyler got into it, and then I was like, what's this? And then you both...
And now we're trying to get Logan into it.
He's fucking stubborn, though. He's like, I don't want to watch part 1. I'm like, part 1...
This thing is stupid. You're stupid.
Get past part 1, you'll fucking love it.
Part 1's good, too. I don't care.
Part 1's good, but it's the weakest part.
It is the weakest part.
But you gotta set it up.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're to the point where, like, Jonathan and Dio are, like, on the side of a burning fucking mansion, they're on the wall fighting, and Dio's like, goodbye, JoJo.
Goodbye, JoJo.
And you're not having a good time, then maybe, I mean,
You don't like fun.
that might be indicative that you should watch JoJo, to be honest.
And at this part, you basically have, like, you have 3 other parts after that, so you're pretty high rolling, so you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
Like I fucking did.
So,
yeah.
next, let's just say...
Thank God it's JoJo Friday.
Let's just say what our favorite part is, and like a short reason. Don't go into too much detail, because we'll get to all the parts later.
Right. Mine's part 3.
Hey.
I like Jotaro.
Hey.
I like Stans.
Hey.
And Dio's back.
Hey.
And better than ever.
It's your fave part, my bro.
Damn. It has to go... I think it comes up to part 4 instead of part 2.
Yeah.
Because all the fucking kooky-ass characters. Yeah. And it's like such a light part. Like
JaJa's Kooky Quest.
Part 4 is muy fantastico.
Yeah. And it's like not as grimdark as like every other one that has been. Because 3 was pretty fucking awful. Damn, that shit.
Especially at the end.
I had
Oh,
like
it was dark.
I had a like depressive episode. I like cried in the shower. I'm like, it's over. And
I mean, yeah, like you're sad when JoJo's over because
And
like
then-
you have to wait 2 years for it to come back.
and
Like
then you
10
get,
years ago, this is unrelated, but like 10 years ago, when I first played Kingdom Hearts 2, as soon as I beat it, I got in the shower and cried because I was so sad that I went, like the game was over. I was just overwhelmed by this experience. Like, no.
and you're like,
You're a fucking loser.
That was the first one I ever played too, so I had no idea what was going on in the story. I just knew like Mickey was like Yoda. I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
Fucking losers.
Yeah, I was like, I was 10, so shit was hype though. Fun ass game.
You turn on part 4 and it's like Modio Radio, and I'm like, damn.
All right, so my favorite part 7, Muy Glorioso, TBH. It's I won't go into too much detail about it, but it takes place in the 1880s. Badass horse race. It's got like really morally gray characters and some of the best stand powers.
Yeah.
So, all right, who's your favorite JoJo?
Favorite JoJo?
Yep.
Does Dio count?
You can count Dio if you want. Don't say anything else, but
Dio?
who's your favorite JoJo?
Fuck, there's so many in my head right now.
I hope not more than 8.
More than 8.
Well, there's 9 because Dio counts.
Probably Jotaro, because he's just fucking like,
He's the JoJo
After-
who's in it most.
yeah.
Yep.
But like it might be Joseph for me, because Joseph's just like, he's like, I'm gonna fuck you with my mind.
Joseph's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Most of the JoJos are pretty awesome.
Who's your favorite Joe bro?
Well, my favorite JoJo
Oh, my bad.
Fucking skip him.
is it's probably Johnny and Jolene. Jolene's from part 6
Yeah.
Stone Ocean.
for
Yep.
different reasons.
Who's
Also-
your favorite? Oh, sorry.
Johnny's just one of the coolest paraplegic characters in anything. Period. So
He rides his horse.
Yeah.
Who's your
Sam's
favorite?
pretty cool.
Joe, bro.
Yeah, who's your favorite Joe bro?
Mista from part 5.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah.
hype.
Yeah.
She's Eyes also pretty good though too.
Caesar is pretty good.
Pretty.
I'd have to go with Kakyoin.
Yeah.
Kakyoin's pretty cool.
Now stop gonna make me cry.
Kakyoin's like super sad because you're like, hey, maybe Kakyoin's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Didn't know we were spoiling, my bros.
Ah. And
Fuck.
the anime came out like 2 years ago, and the manga's been out for 20.
All right.
Get over it.
We probably should have did this first, but do we want to like say what JoJo's is kind of?
This family of people who have to fight weird evil people.
So it's just
Yeah, that's
it's pretty much it. It's just like a lineage that's been fucked by fate, and they're forced to do this, and they're like, damn, I don't want to
Why?
do this.
JoJo's has also been around for fucking ever. It's like one of the oldest still
Yeah.
running manga,
Yeah.
and if you like anything shonen,
You'll like JoJo?
It's yeah.
JoJo influenced what you like.
Yeah.
It's pretty hype.
Is this a JoJo reference?
Is this a
And it's-
JoJo reference?
And it's also got like some of the best designed fights, especially starting in part 3,
Giant
Oh,
Kid
yeah.
Boy.
that are, well, I guess really in part 2,
Yeah.
that start with, they're more about like mental games and tricking.
Then
And
just like, I'm gonna
it's-
punch you a million times.
Yeah.
You're gonna try to punch me a million times. We're gonna just
Part
that,
one's
that only
smart.
that only happens like one part in part 3.
Yeah, and people will watch a new show and they'll be like, this is so refreshing, it's a shonen, but the fights are like blah blah blah. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean,
Ta-da.
that's cool, that's good,
Yeah.
but it's not the first one.
No. And really, JoJo's not even like the first of its ilk anyway.
No, because it was
Araki kind of bit off of Hokuto no Ken.
yeah, he based the art style and kind of like the
At least part 1.
Yeah.
Part 1's
Yeah,
just
part one's
Hokuto no
really-
Ken. It's Hokuto no Ken with vampires.
so. All right, speaking of part one.
Part
Speaking
one.
of part 1, Phantom Blood.
The birth.
That's what we're here to talk
The
about.
birth of JoJo.
The birth of JoJo.
Yes.
Exactly.
If you watch it, if I have to say that the first episode is weak, and if once you get through the first episode and you get through the second, you will keep watching. I will guarantee it. because the first episode is the weakest one because it's all it's all exposition and no action, except for Dio like kicking a dog. Like JoJo and Dio fight a couple times, like fist fight a couple times. Dio kills a dog, and
It's hype.
It's high.
I've always liked the first episode. Eric doesn't like it.
I don't like it because it's boring.
It's not. It's because like you're like, are these? They're gonna fucking beat
No,
each
I
other
don't even
to
think
death.
it's boring.
They're gonna. Beat each
I
other.
revel in developing my two main characters. So
See, yeah, I understand that, but I think it's just too much for just one. Like, I don't like the first episode.
Well, that because like seeing is like it's part of the show and like they cut it down and like try to fit everything together.
yeah, like I don't think it's boring. I think it goes too fast more than anything.
I just don't like the first
because
episode.
I believe they cut like even in the manga they're like there's even like a chapter where like JoJo
They cut out like half a volume almost.
yeah and Erik like hang out after a while.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna hit the main like plot beats kind of, and we can kind of talk about each part, what we
Plot
like.
beats.
Try not to go too in depth on characters because I have a character section, but we can. I mean,
Okay.
It's a character driven story, obviously. So
Yeah.
all right, we start in the manga. We start with a scene of a man using the stone mask on somebody, which is not in the anime, because they kind of later on the stone mask would be a little bit different. We'll talk about it more in part 2. So the first scene in the anime is the crash, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the white crash.
So I don't think we need to explain it, really, but we can talk about it.
Right.
So let's talk about Dio and Dario and their part of the story.
Awful relationship.
Dario's a bad dad. He's a bad dad.
If Dario was just a slightly better dad, like half of the bad stuff that happens to the Joestar line would never have happened.
That's outlined in part 5.
Is it really?
Yeah, because the only reason Giovanni does not go bad is a role model in his life. That's literally the reason.
Well, isn't it like also because like he's half Jonathan's kid, so
Bruh, come on, let's.
oh come on, we're gonna talk about it at the end of this video anyway.
Bruh, let's just stick. I think we should try to stick to part 1.
Okay.
part 1.
That's what I think.
Well, the thing that I was just talking about happens in part 1.
I know,
Not
but
partly.
I know, but we don't know about stuff that happens later on yet.
Oh my god.
We're not there yet.
All
We're
right,
not future
okay.
selves.
Okay, Dio's dad eventually dies when he's a teen. He's
Yes.
like 12, isn't he? It's 12,
12 or
right?
13.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And since George Joestar the First, it was like, hey, I owe you one for saving my life in this crash.
Yeah.
But Dario wasn't there to save his life. He's like, I'm going to pull their teeth and sell them, because that's what the Victorian English did. Because...
Very extremely historically accurate.
Especially
Yeah,
when you're dork.
yeah.
Like,
So, in the Frankenstein part of senior English, I think it was, that we had to do, I did talk to our favorite teacher about it, and I was like, yeah, like this happens in one of the animes that I like. And they're like, there's a character who's like, yeah, he's like, let's grab their teeth and sell them. And he's like, yeah, that happened. And I'm like, yeah, I just said that. And so like Dario dies.
Yep.
And sends Dio to live with the Joestars.
Yep.
Dio's like, well, I'm gonna get their money somehow.
He basically plans, like, he already turns into his father and plans how to...
Well,
He's
I don't think
smarter than his dad.
I don't think he turns into his father. I think it's his hatred for his father that makes him the person he is. That's why I really like the beginning, because a lot, especially this part and a lot of parts later on, they really revolve around the things that Dio does over the course of the story. So I think it's really important that Dio has such, like, immediately, like, before we meet Jonathan at all, we get Dio's backstory.
Isn't it 2 and 4 that has nothing to do with Dio, basically?
Yeah.
And Dio's like only like lightly mentioned in 4
because of the bow. Yeah.
the Nijimura brothers.
So, but I just like how, I mean, even from the beginning, Dio has such, like, it's very clear, like, you don't agree with Dio, and he's, like, super fucking evil.
Speak for yourself.
Well, okay. Dio's extremely evil, but it's also, like, you see where he's coming from.
Dio's my
Like,
favorite.
you understand the things that made him how he is. So already he's a better villain. Like, because he's not, like, the most complicated villain or anything at all.
Right.
But he is super over-the-top evil, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And you know exactly why he's like that.
Yeah.
So you can't really ask for much more.
Hey,
I don't think.
guys, Erik likes the villains.
Yes.
Griffith, Makoto Shishio, Dio.
Well, those are all really good villains.
Yeah,
So,
they're all really good villains.
I think everyone loves a good villain.
I mean,
I think that's ubiquitous.
yeah.
Okay. So, Jonathan and Dio's childhood.
They don't like each other.
No.
But like the second episode starts with them playing rugby together. Like they pretend to like each other for George's sake.
Yeah.
After the first episode.
Well, even Jonathan gets to know him. He's still skeptical, I think, but deep down, even as he's a soft guy, he still finds Dio as a brother. He's just kind of skeptical.
I feel no friendship for you at all, Dio.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like you, but I like you.
Yeah. I mean, Phantom Blood is really, I think it really excels at what it is in terms of its narrative, and its narrative is about Jonathan and Dio's relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean, it begins with the beginning of that relationship and ends with the end of it. So
yeah,
I think it does that really well. I think the weak part of part one is the action sequences and stuff like that.
I don't know. Some of the action stuff's pretty cool.
I know. I know. That's why it's top notch. Even when it's the worst part, it's still really fucking good.
I think the JoJo's Adventure series, its only problem is its lack of waifus.
There's still some good waifus.
I mean, yeah, there's
Lisa is shittity.
But if you need a husbando, JoJo's where you go to.
Suzuki,
Okay. So, the next scene where George gets poisoned by our lovely friend Dio, and Jonathan must go to London to get the medicine to save his life.
No.
What did I miss?
You don't really find out that Dio's poisoning him until Jonathan finds a letter from Dario to George and is like, yo, I'm dying of the same symptoms you are. And Jonathan finds this and he's like, hey, this is weird. I don't like this. I want to what medicine is this? And he's like, oh, this must be Chinese medicine.
Well, it also plays in the part even in the manga and the anime, it plays a part in at the end of before they start playing rugby together, they fight and the blood splatters on the mask.
Oh yeah, and the mask activates.
And then after that, especially when he finds the letter, he's messing with the mask as well.
Well, yeah, because he's
Dio knows about the mask. Dio's backup plan is to use the mask.
Yeah.
On Jonathan.
But
it's that's his first plan, isn't it?
No, he thinks Jonathan's gonna die in London.
Oh yeah, he's gonna die on Ogre Street.
Yep. But
instead, he meets the second best Joestar character ever.
Fucking Speedwagon.
Robert Edward O. Speedwagon.
My fucking hero.
Hey.
Speedwagon is the best comic relief character ever. Period. Fuck you.
JoJo.
Yeah. Araki really liked bands.
Yeah.
So there are just dudes named after bands.
Everything is named after bands in JoJo.
Stands
That's just how it works.
named after band. Unless you were a JoJo, you were probably named after a band.
Or your stand was named after a band.
Right.
Later on, most of the characters are named after fashion designers.
Oh.
And most of the stands are named after bands.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Which is
bad if you're a cease and desist.
Well, no, it's bad if you're Crunchyroll because they're because that's how you end up with Sentimento and it's what?
Speed car.
No, they have speed.
They have
Speedwagon.
Yeah.
There's only certain things that they changed. In the video games, he's not Polnareff. He's Eiffel. He's never Vanilla Ice has never been Vanilla Ice.
It's Ice Vanilla or something.
It's Cool Ice.
Cool Ice.
Yeah.
Mr. Cool as Ice.
Japan doesn't care about little shit like that, and most of those things are from America anyway. So
trademark law is different. So.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Honestly, that's something I really love about JoJo is the band names. The best part is when they play into the character.
Or the stand is Bad Company is a bunch of little things.
Yeah, little soldiers.
Little soldiers.
Yeah. Diavolo's stand is King Crimson and
And then the little face on it is Epitaph.
Its abilities are named after songs that kind of relate to his personality.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to associate the stuff that Araki likes with his art. Yeah. So, I don't know. I've never really seen too many people complain about it, but
what the fuck does King Crimson do?
I know it just seems like one of those things that people would complain about, he can't even name his own superpowers, but I don't think anybody gives a fuck. It's pretty awesome.
No.
It's pretty hype.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's so consistent and he obviously doesn't give a fuck. He just roll with it. Just kind of the principal motto of a lot of JoJo is just roll with it.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's the best part.
okay, so eventually, Dio uses the mask when Jonathan comes back, and he becomes Vampire Dio.
Well, I think we have to mention that Dio goes to London after Jonathan is like he fights some dudes.
Yeah.
He
in
tests
the
the mask
street.
out.
Oh, yeah.
He tests the mask out on this dude.
That's how he
turns-
finds out it turns people into vampires.
Yeah. And then he's like, the police are there, and he's like, JoJo, I want you to put the cuffs on me. And Jonathan, being stupid, is like, yeah, all right.
He's such a soft-hearted guy. It's so fucking like
He's naive. He's not. He's just,
like
Well, he's both of those things.
he's naive and soft-hearted because like even I can't say because we'll get to that part. But like he just puts it on. He's like so soft and like Speedwagon's like, hey yo, don't.
like the fight with Speedwagon and the two other dudes, and Jonathan is like, is the hypest thing. Is like Speedwagon has like this hat with like blades on it, and he's like, oh, I'll cut
He's
you with
fucking
my
Kung
hat.
Lao from.
Yeah, he's fucking Kung Lao.
I love like at first he's like trying to be a hard ass, and you see him, he's like, oh shit, there's about to be like a gangster fight, and then like by the end of part 1, you're like, this is the goofiest motherfucker.
He even tosses away his own fucking hat. He doesn't keep it. He's like, fuck it, I don't need it.
But he gets the cool hat. I wish he kept the cool hat in part 2.
So, the first fight between Dio and Jonathan.
Hype. He
Hype.
like sets the house on
Super
fire.
hype.
He's like,
He walks up walls with his new vampire powers.
He fucking destroys like half the police force. Well, all of it actually.
Yeah. it's-
He also kills Jonathan's father, which gives him like a super strong reason to like hate Dio even more.
yeah.
Because he's always been wishy-washy on Dio a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
Because Jonathan knows he's just a product of his upbringing.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I can't hate him for circumstances that he did not control.
Yeah.
But then once Dio kills George, he's like, well, fuck you, Dio. I'm gonna kill you now.
So,
Dio has his cool Chinese friend servant.
the OP of part 1's anime is pretty much based almost all on this fight, right? A lot of the scenes from it are from this fight anyway,
Yes.
which is fine. I think it works well.
Except for like the beginning where it shows all the JoJo's.
Yeah.
And then you go. Jonathan gets real fucked up in that fight. He's like all burned. He's like broken.
He defeats Dio.
Yeah.
He
but
thinks
that's-
Dio's dead, but
He
he's
thinks
not.
Dio's dead.
Yeah.
You don't kill Dio that easily.
Running theme.
Yeah. Dio's a hard motherfucker to kill.
He's also desperate as fuck.
So,
Oh yeah.
the next part, we get to meet sweet baby Bay, Zeppeli, however you want to say him.
Mario. Wait, no.
William Zeppeli.
William Zeppeli.
Well, I think we forget to outline the fact that like even at this time, like even at the early stages, like when JoJo was like 12, Dio was shattering all his hope, and he was about to like win, and then JoJo gets Arena.
Yeah.
That shit tight.
Yeah, and Arena shows back up and like tends to his wounds and whatnot.
Yeah.
Arena will be important like later though, in like a later part. She's more important, I think, in part 2 than part 1.
A lot more, because I mean,
Yeah.
she isn't outshined by fucking John.
Right. And I don't know if like even when they were kids, like Jonathan cannot beat Dio at this Dio cannot be killed by Jonathan at this point
Well,
before he meets
when they were kids,
Zeppeli.
Jonathan beat Dio in their fight.
In one of their fights.
In the last
Yeah.
fight,
Yeah.
he beats him, but because he's like,
It's because Dio's arrogance,
yeah,
which
Yeah.
is also a very present trait of him.
It is also a running theme with Dio.
Yeah.
It's like the thing with the thing with Joestars is like the more you beat them, the better the better they get.
Yep.
They're like, you pummel like their first fight that you pummel them, and it's like, oh you're just this weak idiot. I don't care about you. And then they come back and they're like, they punch you in the chest
Fuck
and you
you.
die.
ooh duh.
That's present I think for every JoJo except for Jotaro,
Pretty much.
because Jotaro's like.
Does
It
he ever lose?
He
part
starts
3?
to like it's like halfway lose, and he comes back and he's like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you.
Well, because like he's just that good.
Yeah.
Plus,
And,
he
like-
also has Star Platinum, so I mean,
Well, I mean, even before he had Star Platinum, he's like beating up gangs and shit in Tokyo.
Well, that's
because they looked at him wrong.
Part 3 is when they start using an ensemble cast more, which
Right.
allows for other characters to get into like more dangerous situations and let him
Right.
make Jotaro like the cool guy. He always wins. So
Well, but the thing about like Jotaro is though, it's shown that he's a sick badass even when he's like a kid.
Yeah.
Because he beats the fuck out of what's his name, Angelo or whatever.
The guy with the shadow stand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Set.
Yeah.
He's just like 8 years old and punches him. Just like get blown out, dude.
So Zeppeli trains Jonathan,
In the art of the ripple,
the
Ripple
Ripple
or
Hamon,
Hamon.
whatever you want to call it.
whatever you want to call it. It's basically the superpower from
It-
Fist of the North Star. What's it called in that?
It's not really like a superpower. It's just martial arts.
Yeah.
It works pretty similar, except in JoJo it's like based on the power of the sun, so that's how it's used to defeat
Well, it's
vampires.
like it's breathing. It's
Yeah.
the same power as the sun.
Yeah.
In Hokuto no Ken, it's like you have like meridian points in your body
Pressure points, yeah.
that that Kenshiro and the other brothers of Hokuto can use of Hokuto Shinken, that they strike you precisely in those meridians and you explode.
Yeah.
And then the other like power is the South Star,
Yeah.
which is with Nanto, and like they like that's more like with weapons and like the higher up abilities of Nanto, like the Nanto Seiken and stuff is like they cut you with their ki and shit.
Yeah, you can fucking chop people in half with your...
Yeah, like
Your-
Ray's the coolest motherfucker because he's got like the Nanto Sea Joken or whatever. It's like the waterfowl fist is like it's so graceful and she's like jumping all over the place and like cutting you and your face is going to ribbons.
Yeah.
It's hype as fuck. But like Rao, he's the eldest brother of Hokuto, but like he's just so strong. He just punches you once and your chest explodes out your back. Like Kenshiro's like he's the true successor, so he's like the best dude at it. And he like punches you 100 times and your head explodes. But Rao just punches you and he's just so strong you explode. And I think that's more or less what Jonathan does. He's like he does more of the overdrive stuff. Where
He
he's-
uses the Ripple to make you explode.
yeah, it's hype.
So
Unless you're Bluford or Bruford.
Zeppeli is the latest in a long line of warriors who use the Ripple to fight against vampires.
I didn't think that was true.
Zeppeli...
He's the newest trained. It's not like a family line.
Yeah, he goes...
Oh, okay, because like it was more or less like
There's a line of warriors who fight against
it was more or less the
vampires, but they train people. They don't. It's not like a family thing.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I thought it was more like I thought like the dudes at the temple of Nepal were like, oh, we're just training the Ripple because like that's what we do. I didn't think it was like, oh, we fight vampires, because I thought like original Hamon tribe was like, oh, we're here to fight the Pillarmen.
Oh, well, I don't remember. You could be right.
I think
It's
it
been a while
was-
since I've.
Because like Tom Petty and it's like, yeah, we're just like monks. Shake my hand. I want to see how you die.
So
It's not great.
anyway, Zeppeli is training Jonathan so he can defeat Dio because
Well, I think the whole thing with like the vampires is Zeppeli's mission, because like his dad was like the first like vampire in a long time.
Yeah.
Because his dad and him found the mask. So I think that's why. I think that's really what happened.
and as the final step of Jonathan's training, on his way to go confront Dio in this small English village, they meet Jack the Ripper, the Jack the Ripper,
Who's now a vampire.
who Dio made.
Well,
did
no, he's
Dio
a
make him-
zombie. He's a zombie.
Zombie, yeah.
Vampires can turn people into zombies.
Yes.
Jack Ripper was...
You have to wear the mask to become a vampire, but you can turn people
Right.
into zombies.
There are only 3 actual vampires I think ever shown.
I
don't know.
3 because Dio, Straits, and the one they feed to Santana.
No, there's the guy earlier in part 1.
Oh yeah, 4. So there's only been 4 vampires really ever shown, because Dio makes a bunch of zombies.
These aren't like your brain dead zombies. These are like
No, these are like they're just undead dudes.
yeah, they're
They're- I
very
think
tough.
they're- I think-
They're very hard to kill.
I think they'd be more akin to like ghouls
Yeah.
than zombies. And then Vanilla Ice is not a true. He's not a zombie. He's a zombie. He's not a vampire.
No, he's a
No, because Zio doesn't put the mask on him. Dio just like gives him his blood, so he's not a vampire, he's a zombie.
All right, I think we're off track.
We are off track. My bad.
So, anything interesting about the Jack the Ripper fight? It's cool.
It's a cool like set piece because it's like the harsh north wind makes the Vikings, and Zappelli goes, "A Viking has been made today." He's like, he gives him this wine. He's like, "If you spill a drop of this wine,
I will abandon you."
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave. He doesn't spill the wine. He's
It's
like,
the final step of Jonathan's training.
yeah, it's hype.
Next, the big fight. Tarkus and Bruford. 2 super powerful zombies.
Yeah.
And their little minions fight against Jonathan and Zappelli, and I think
it's more or less just Bruford goes, "Tarkus, sit this one out. I'm gonna fight this dude." And Bruford is a dude with a sword named Luck.
Yeah.
And Tarkus and Bruford sided with Mary instead of Elizabeth in the Succession Wars.
Yeah.
And they're like, the reason they're super strong is because they were super strong in life, and because they're like super mad because they were betrayed. And so, Bruford can like control his hair, and he also has the sword.
Yeah.
And so there's this fight, and I like that fight better than the fight with Tarkus because it's like, Jonathan is like, he's like, oh, at the end of the fight, the Haman actually like partially brings Bruford back to life. He's like, I feel the pain of life, and I am glad to have met you, Jonathan Joestar. Take my sword. Let me rename it Pluck.
Well, like, not even that. Like, most, like, even, like, Jonathan doesn't, like, beat him. He's like, this is what happened. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
And, he sends, like, the last, like, bit of ripple that he has. And even his hair, like, even Bruford's hair is like, it's like his vampire fangs. That's
Yeah,
like
it's
how
like he's
up.
able to suck blood out of you with his hair.
And then he's like, wow, I'm sorry that I was a D-bag. Here's my sword. I remember, like, and then Tarkus is like, I'm blind. Whatever. Hatred has blinded me all the way.
The fight with Tarkus is cool, but, like, it's cool because, like, the line that Tom Petty gives is, like, Zappelli dies in that fight, because he's, like, he dies to save Jonathan, because Jonathan, like, they're, like, in this, it's called, like, they're, like, chained to the ceiling, and, like, they gotta fight over this chain, and Tarkus, like, breaks Jonathan's neck, and, like, is about to go, like, kill him, and Zappelli comes into, like, the chamber, and, like, he remembers Tom Petty's, like, words to him. He's like, you will die in an ancient place that smells of death to save the young lion into the future. And it's like, okay, that's, okay, cool.
And then he does.
And then he gets, like, ripped in half, and he's like, Jonathan, here's the rest of my ripple. And, like, Jonathan, like, gets his neck
power boost.
Gets his neck fixed. He's like, tears out of his shirt. And, like, he breaks the unbreakable collar around his neck, picks Tarkus up off the ground, like, and then kills him. It's a pretty hype fight.
Yep.
And then you meet the rest of the Haman crew, because they show up.
Yep. Dyer and Strazo.
Dyer, Straits, and Tom Petty.
Swag.
Too bad Dyer dies.
Yep. He's the Dyer. All right. So next up, the gang arrives at Dio's little is it a castle or like a mansion?
It's kind of a castle.
It's a castle, yeah.
So they arrive at Dio's castle. Jonathan is ready to fuck this dude's shit up. He's so mad. He's lost 2 people in like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's about a week and a half.
Yeah. He's fuck you, Dio.
He's been speeding along.
Before we go on, like, Dio has the best line ever, because, like, he gets all burned up and shit in the mansion fight, and Zappelli goes, how many people have you killed to fix your wounds? And Dio goes, how many breads have you eaten? It's like, that's how evil Dio is. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, even at that part, he figures out, like, he can freeze their fucking blood to stop
Oh,
the
yeah,
ripple.
he, like, yeah, dude, it's hype. Like,
And
man, how do you...
Vampires are fucking weird in JoJo. They got, like, all
like,
kinds of crazy... They
he's
basically
like
have full control over
Space
their...
Ripper stingy eyes, man.
Yeah. Shoot lasers.
They have, like, control of their blood.
It's not like a laser. It's like pressurized eye
Yeah, they
fluid.
have full control of their bodily functions, so you can shoot pressurized eye fluid.
And straight skills at the Space Ripper stingy eyes.
You can freeze people's blood.
Like, he can make his, like, blood so hot that, like, the people, like, around him can fucking, like, freeze.
Well, no, he, like, removes he, like, vaporizes his blood so, like, it freezes, flash freezes. It's nuts, dude. Dio's cool.
Yeah.
And then fucking Speedwagon warms Zeppelin's arm.
Yeah.
As soon as
On
he gets
his
frozen
chest.
on his chest, he's like, it hurts, but I'm doing this for you.
I want to be useful. And he's like, ugh.
Yeah, Speedwagon's still around.
Speedwagon's the coolest dude ever.
Yep, Speedwagon's pretty fucking hype.
Yeah. And then, like, Dyer he's like, I'm going to fight this dude first because I want to avenge my friend Zeppeli. And, like, he does this weird kick thing and Dio just freezes him. And then he throws a Haman rose at Dio's eye. And
With
he's
his
like,
severed head.
still living severed head. He's like, oh, and Dio goes, how dare you touch me with your Haman that's dirtier than frog piss. It's like, I don't think frog piss is that dirt. Like, what?
Dirty.
And it's like, so then Jonathan and Dio fight. Jonathan figures how to beat the freezing thing, 'cause he's like, he has pluck. He cuts Dio in half, like, partially.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he puts it in a fire to keep him from freezing it. And like Dio has another great line. It's like, can a monkey fight a man? It's like what's that full line? Because that line's great. Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly, but it's basically Dio has become even more arrogant now because he's an ascended life form.
Yeah.
So
It's like, how does that, like, Dio has, like, the best lines ever.
Well, even before that, like, before even that, like, Dio grabs him by the neck. His fingers sink into his skin.
Oh, yeah.
They don't absorb blood like regular vampires. They fucking, like, absorb it through their hands, like, in some weird shit. And basically, Dio grabs Jonathan's neck, pulls out his carotid, plays with it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll snap it before you even hurt me.
JoJo's is fucking gory, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that, but
Yeah.
The flash freezing of a man and snapping him into pieces while his severed head flies into a fucking
dog burned alive.
Dog, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's cut in half.
Yeah.
Pretty-
Yeah, it's pretty
Pretty gory
hype.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's never really like.
It's not over the top, I don't think.
No, I was gonna say it's so over the top that it's like it's not really horrifying. It's just kind of like insane.
Yeah.
And besides, none of the anime is really sure like they're really gory.
Yeah, the
parts.
anime doesn't really show that.
They
much.
just
They don't even
blur
show
it.
that much blood.
They block it out too. With the black.
They don't even show Jotaro smoking, so.
Yeah.
Which is kind of. I think the DVD version does though, like the Blu-ray and DVD version is
Yeah,
better.
they can't show it
Well,
on
they
TV.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
He like lights it and puts it in his mouth. They just fucking black it out.
Yeah, you can still see the cigarette, but like it's just all black out. It's funny.
So, Jonathan prevails. Anything else to say about that part?
Jonathan wins that fight, and like as Dio's falling down, like the Haman's going through, and he's like, "I better cut my own head off and just live." He's like, cuts his own head off. His Chinese dude picks him up, and then, oh happy days! Arena and Jonathan get married.
Yep.
They're on their way to America for their honeymoon.
Yep.
Dio's on the ship.
It's with Zeppeli's body, right?
No. He's
He's
just
in
a
a
head in a
glass.
jar. He's just a head in a jar.
I know. I thought
he's
there
a
was
Futurama.
I thought there was a coffin on the boat.
Yeah, it had the Chinese dude in it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Okay.
That's his coffin. That's his resting.
Yeah, that
place.
was like that's what they pull up in part 3, and like, so Dio and Jonathan fight again, but Dio
Dio's
like
is a severed head,
in a jar.
and he starts like killing people on the boat, and just
Yeah.
going fucking crazy because he
And,
can
like-
do that.
Yeah, and so this boat's about to blow up.
Well, I don't think like Dio doesn't even kill people. He
has
he gives his Chinese buddy the power to be a vampire. He
makes him he's a zombie,
Um,
and he's making other zombies who are killing people on the boat.
yeah, he was killing.
And then
people.
like Jonathan is fighting dudes, and like he starts to fight Dio. Dio uses his eyes lasers and shoots him in the throat. So now he can't breathe properly to do Haman. So he's like, "Now you're dead. I'm gonna cut your head. I'm gonna cut your head off and use your body."
And Jonathan tells Arena to run away, use the coffin as a lifeboat, and take this
Yeah.
little baby whose parents were turned into zombies.
Yep.
So she does that, and as the boat goes down, a dying Jonathan holds
Dio's head, and it's like...
cradles Dio's head in his arms as the boat sinks, and Dio's like, "Oh, let me go, you motherfucker!" And
he's like, "I'm sure you'll want to live with Arena forever. I can do that." And he's like, "Oh wait, Shinderu."
so Jonathan holds his brother's head as they die.
Well, as he dies.
Yeah.
Jonathan's already dead.
Because Dio cuts his head off, attaches himself to Jonathan's body, and that's the body he has in part 3.
Also, it's weird though, because like Arena gets in. This is the part like I
Yeah,
I was gonna talk about this in part 3 if you'd rather wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
We can go because it's more relevant to part 3
Okay.
than
Also, flashback to Zeppeli dying. No matter how many times I don't want to flash back to that.
Right.
Zeppeli is a lot older. Like I think 40 or 50.
He's got to be at least 50.
The thing is, hormone keeps you young.
Makes you look young.
It
makes you look younger.
young.
Yeah.
The time when he gives Zeppeli gives all his power to Jonathan, he
like,
turns to his original age or goes back to
and he looks
how old
old as fuck.
Yeah, he looks really old.
He looks worse than a normal 40-year-old.
This is a setup for a character later on.
Yes.
That's very important that you have to...
You have to remember this later.
Yes.
Okay. So...
It's actually like 2 characters. It's the motivation for one of them.
Yeah, it's the motivation for one of them.
In 1987, you didn't kill off your fucking main character. Your series was your main character.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Okay.
That took balls. That's all I'm saying. It was crazy. That was fucking insane.
Right.
It's still pretty crazy now, to be honest.
But you killed your main character.
In 40 chapters.
Yeah.
9 episodes of the anime. He's dead.
12. 12 episodes.
Is it
I'm
even
pretty
12?
sure.
I thought it was 9. I thought part 1 was 9 episodes.
It might be. I might be wrong.
12 or... I think it might be 10.
I have the box over there. I can just look.
Yeah, box, yeah.
So that's the basic plot beats.
That yeah.
We can talk a little bit more about each character. See what else we have to say.
1, 2, 3.
Eric's counting.
9
Nine.
episodes.
I was
9 episodes,
right.
Okay.
Fuck
Good job, Tyler.
No, fuck you.
Well, fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right. Jonathan Joestar, our hero.
The main hero.
He's a fucking nerd.
He's just like the perfect nicest guy in the whole world.
He's like, I beat people up because like I don't.
He's noble. He wants to
yeah.
protect everyone around him.
He's just like, I do this for my nobility. And
I'm a good dude. Tip fedora.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Not
But
that.
even by the end of part 1, it's kind of like,
He didn't deserve what happened to him.
well, no.
Well,
Like he kind of is a little bit boring by the end. I think nothing too crazy.
he becomes the
That's-
must.
He's a very reactive character.
I think that's
Dio does things, or Zeppeli does something, and Jonathan reacts to it. And that's basically how his character influences the story, really.
I think that's why Joseph's so good.
Well, yeah.
We'll get to that when we get to a battle.
Well, a lot of the things he doesn't even like deserve though. Like he's like brother.
Well, yeah, he
And
just
he,
gets put through the
Fuck
ringer.
you.
And
But-
like Dio kicks his dog, and he's like, whatever. I
Hey
still
man,
love
don't
you.
kick Danny. That's not cool.
He's
As a character, he's not particularly like deep or super interesting, but he works well in part 1, especially because Dio is so fucking evil that like
Yeah.
his polar opposite it really is Jonathan.
Yeah.
So
And then like with Jonathan, I think like eventually over time, like even like I don't even think Jonathan was like that hoity-toity when his dad wanted him to be.
no,
he still
he's
fucks
not hoity-toity.
up. He still fucks up, especially in like the dinner. Like he spills his wine. They send him off to bed. He's like really fucking bummed out. That's like the pinnacle when he almost like he decides to like just leave his life. But then Arena comes by because one day he's like, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm gonna get my ass beat for this doll and this chick I don't even know.
Yeah, he gets beat up by a bunch of bullies just to protect some girl and her little doll that he's never even met. That's the kind of person Jonathan is.
He's a fucking dork.
He's a good guy, and I love him.
Sure.
You're saying he's not a good guy?
I mean, yeah, he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. I think Jonathan's like my 3rd favorite JoJo so far.
He's like my least.
Cause yeah, he's kind of like I've only seen 3
He's
parts.
he's an
so...
atypical character. Well, basically, he's like a really atypical like superhero character.
He's not atypical. He is atypical.
Yeah, atypical character.
Not atypical.
Atypical superhero.
He's atypical. All right.
He's the Superman, the boring Superman character.
Superman's a lot more interesting than Jonathan, though.
Hey.
So. All right. Now let's talk. Do you want to save Dio for last, or do you want to talk about him now?
Let's save him for last so I can bust that nut later.
Okay. All right. So Speedwagon. I don't know. He's fucking hilarious. He's great.
Speedwagon's great because
Speedwagon's
it's like
a silly character because like it's also a dark time for JoJo. You got your dad. His dad's dying. You're like
Speedwagon's pretty important for the comic relief because it'd be a little.
be
a little
real
bit too dark.
Yeah.
It just descends into madness, and the Speedwagon's like, "Hey, what's good? I'm gonna warm some guy's dead hand on my."
It's just like the way he talks is just hilarious. Like,
and just like the way he's like, I'm gonna protect you, Jonathan. You like, they had like, after the first time they meet is like the start of a bromance. It's just.
Well, he's like so over the top too. He's like, you are a true gentleman. You fucking didn't kill one of my men.
No, I love like when the part where George dies and Jonathan's like talking to him and Speedwagon's like, "This is the saddest thing I have ever seen," and Dio is so evil. Like,
Yeah, it's like the villain Dio has been vanquished. And Dio gets up, and like Jonathan's pointing a gun at Dio, shaking, and Speedwagon's like, boom. They both have a gun. All you hear is a gunshot, and you see the one, like Jonathan just shaking the gun, like he's like, ugh, and you just see Speedwagon, steel-handed, just shoots him. He just shoots Dio tight.
It's just because he's so over the top. I think that he's a really nice comic relief because he's just like, "Do it, Jonathan. Believe."
And he's not like annoying.
No,
a lot of comic relief characters are like annoying, or they do say like stupid jokes. Like Speedwagon is just like such a good friend, and he's like so loyal, but he's like just like it's like he lives like he knows he's in a manga almost. He acts like he's in a manga.
Yeah.
Like, we need to defeat the bad guy, Jonathan.
He's even like kind of that in part 2 too. He's like, which is great.
So yeah, Speedwagon.
He's a little bit more depressive though in part 2, but that's another
he's
thing.
He's had to see 3 Joestars die.
So.
And he's like, and he thinks a 4th one died. So, how sad would that be? Like, Speedwagon's such a good friend. He's a friend to every Joestar ever, until part 6, because he starts the Speedwagon Foundation.
All right. So next up is Zeppeli.
Oh shit.
Zeppeli's cool because he's all got a sick mustache, and he's like,
He got a cool design.
I gotta beat the mask. He's very flamboyant. He's just like, he doesn't just sit down. He like jumps into the air and lands on a chair.
The appearance of Zeppeli is when JoJo becomes JoJo.
Yeah.
I think.
He punches a frog. The frog scene is so fucking cool. Cause like there's like this frog on a rock, right? And he's like, well, I gotta demonstrate the power of Haman. So he punches through the frog. Jonathan's like, hey, yo, no, don't do that. And like the frog's fine, and just the rock under the frog breaks.
Yeah,
he like punches. He like takes his pinky, hits Jonathan in the diaphragm. He's like, yes, empty your lungs of air, and then breathe deeply to fill your lungs with air again. He's like,
well, like that's even the first part when he gives him like Haman.
Yeah, that's how he gives him the Haman.
He's like, you've had a little bit of it in you, but now I have fully activated it.
Yeah.
And I've also fixed all your bones. Thanks. You can thank me later.
Yeah.
So he's obviously like the cool like mentor type character.
He's the Master Roshi.
Except he's like way cooler.
His fucking intro is like the best because he's like, here's some salt, here's a sandwich, pour that shit
it's
on
a
there.
pepper. He's like sneezes so hard he like rolls down a hill. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
And of course, being the cool old mentor, you know what has to happen to him.
He fucking dies.
He's gonna fucking die.
He fucking bites it, dude.
Every fucking
hard.
I think murked.
Zeppelis have no.
Hey,
fucking...
whoa! We can't
slow down on that. I was gonna say, Zeppeli is kind of weird because he's not like himself is not really an important character to the series, but his name carries so much weight.
Yeah.
And there's not that many. Like there's Joestars in every part, Dio's in almost every part, but there are Zeppelis in 3 parts.
Yeah.
But the appearance of a Zeppeli.
It's like, oh shit.
It carries a lot of weight, and I think it's pretty interesting.
And
they all follow a certain like kind of arc that I won't talk about now, but it's pretty interesting to see.
And like every Zeppeli is Italian. They're Italians.
Yep.
So why, like the fact that like part 5 takes place in Italy and there's not a Zeppeli in it bothers me. Like Araki missed a very good opportunity to have like
Zappelli's everywhere.
just a bunch of Zappellis.
Yeah.
My name's Zappelli.
I don't know.
Oh fuck.
I mean,
And they all die.
I don't know.
It's just
I think there could have been one, but I know I'm kind of glad that there's so few.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it makes you
the
less
big
sad.
theme of JoJo is like the bloodlines carrying on and stuff.
Right.
And it's kind of like Zappellis don't get that. They don't get that
They
opportunity.
get like a sparse like a thing like
Zappellis are like a hot flame and they burn out too soon.
and like the thing
Well,
is like his dad.
Caesar had like 3 or 4 brothers, and like he had like few siblings.
I know, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, like him, the
only reason-
character that's relevant to the story.
The only
Yeah.
reason like Zappelli comes to this fact of like helping Jonathan is because he's like, I know what happened at the mansion, and I've seen the horrors of the stone mask.
Yeah, it's like
So I'm here to help
So
you.
they're always cool, and they just get cooler.
Yeah.
So
Like they also like have their dad leave, so
Caesar's fucking hype.
I don't have any more Zappelli talk.
No.
Zappelli
Next,
talks pretty quick.
We can do Dio, or we can just kind of talk about Hamon a little bit. Do you want to say Dio for like last?
No, let's talk about Dio now.
All right.
Yeah,
Dio.
Dio da.
Dio's like great because he's like, I love an over the top just, I'm evil. It's just, he's evil to be evil. That's
The best thing is JoJo's runs the. If every villain were like Dio, it'd be pretty boring. But the villains run like a big like character, different different
there's
kinds
a
of
very
characters.
wide range of villains.
So it makes Dio stand out more too,
Yeah.
especially. And Dio's influence is wide-reaching, which we'll talk about more later on.
I think that's why I like Dio a lot, because like Dio and Jonathan, like their lineages like affect the story
Yep.
more than what Cars or Kira do.
A lot of people, especially in the context of the whole series, will say that Dio is the main character of Part 1.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I agree with.
Yeah.
He is the one that makes the actions that affect the
Yeah.
story.
He's the fact that like the reason like their fate is so woven in together.
Yeah. The events of the story hinge on the things he does.
Right.
So Jonathan is the hero, but I would say that Dio is the central character.
Yeah.
And the things he does continue to affect the rest of the series in a lot of big ways.
Right.
Even when he's not there.
And like I
except
said,
for-
his backstory is really well done, I think. I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
It's easy to empathize with his utter disgust for everything around him, and it's not really that hard to see how he ended up the way he did.
I'm
So.
surprised he doesn't talk about his mother that much though.
Because you barely knew her.
Yeah. But like
He doesn't talk about his dad either. He thinks about his dad sometimes.
Especially when he's in
Makes him
London,
really
when he's in London, he's like drinking, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck this dude."
When he sees parts of his dad and himself, it disgusts him.
yeah,
That's why I was saying earlier, I don't think that Dio is very much like his father, and he tries very hard not to be anything like his father because he cannot stand his father.
but in him trying to not be his dad, he becomes very much like his dad.
Yeah.
And that he's a manipulative, like
Egocentric
jerk ass.
bastard, yeah. So, I don't really have anything else about Dio. We'll be talking about him a lot more later, I'm sure.
Yeah. He gets
yeah.
this is just a tip of the
And the fact
iceberg.
that like he somehow is able to grow lipstick in part 3.
I think he wears lipstick.
You rarely-
No, because like
a lot
he sucks up Joseph's blood and like he gets weird green lipstick. Like it comes out of nowhere.
well after that
he
part
changes his hair. It's like what?
and he goes Super Saiyan. That's the
So does Jotaro.
yeah, that's the Super Saiyan part that they got.
All right, we'll get to the Super Saiyan.
They're crackling with stand power. Stand up, power.
All right, so
Stand up. Power.
Hamon.
Hamon's cool. Like
Mom's not
it's
that
only
deep.
it's only relevant for 2 parts.
Yeah.
I think we can talk about it a little bit more in part 2, just because there's more
It's more explained in
more
part 2.
creative applications of
Yeah.
it in part 2.
Yeah, Hamon's like basically like it's breathing and like it's energy of the sun. It kills vampires. You can kill people with it, and like, you can put it into like organic matter and it'll stay there until it comes in contact with something else. But if you put it through like metal, it'll just conduct it.
Yeah.
It's very much like electricity kind of.
Yeah. But to constantly apply to like the reason he's able to cut Dio in half with pluck is because he applies hormone to it constantly.
Yeah.
Through touch.
So
Yeah.
it's more fleshed out than a lot of other shonen like generic
Powers,
anime like my ki,
My jutsu,
my jutsu, whatever.
my chakra.
Nin.
Well, chakra gets explained in Naruto.
Yeah, but the way it's explained is basically irrelevant.
Yeah.
I guess kind of. Like I don't know.
Because like
kind
you
of
basically
It
have
basically just turns into key
right
because
okay.
it's limitless almost.
yeah, because they were like after a while like they don't like ever
Well, for
talk about it
Naruto, it's
running
basically
out.
limitless, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it's like that forever. At the beginning, part of the fighting style is a lot more strategic because they're like focusing on like not using up all their chakra. But
that's why the Zabuza fight up until the Zabuza fight's good, and then
But-
after that, it's like this is kind of bad.
so I don't want to talk about Naruto.
It's awful.
I don't really have anything else about Homon right now. It's
Uh,
cool. I like it. I'm not surprised it went away, and I don't really miss it.
Well, they kind of go. This is a stand. It's called Spirit Hamon. Fuck you.
Yeah, they try to connect them, but
It's not.
there's not really any point.
There's no really connection to
Could you get a-
Hamon.
you got-
After that, I don't think Homon is ever used
'Cause-
besides like Joseph and a little bit in part 3.
Because Joe like
Oh yeah, because Joseph uses it to like prevent Dio from like stealing his blood and like
After that, it's never used again,
right. Yeah.
which is fine. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
I think by the end of part 2, it's really
that's
he's taken
that's
it to
the
its full
peak.
potential.
That's its
Yeah.
peak for it.
So-
To bring it to drag it on, we're only really let it down.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so basically, I think part 1 does a really good job of just like serving as like a good foundation for the rest of the series in general.
Yeah. It's a very good bedrock.
It establishes everything pretty well. Most of the stuff that happens is fairly relevant,
Yeah.
or at least has implications that are relevant.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would say it's if Phantom Blood were just its own thing, it would be good, but it's great because it's
It
part 1
leads
of
off- it
JoJo,
leads
which
off
I think
into
I
a
agree
lineage.
with.
Yeah.
Like if only part 1 existed, it might be like, oh, check out this cool short 80 series that this guy did. But now, since it is part 1 of JoJo's, it kind of elevates it a little bit,
Right.
because of the things it did evolve later on.
I do like the fact that like they took a risk with like, well, let's make JoJo an anime.
That's what I was about
Yeah.
to say. I was about
It's
to
like they really went out on a limb and was like, and it was good. They did a good job with it.
as long as we can, I think we should kind of compare and contrast the anime and the manga portion a little bit.
I have not read the manga, so
Okay,
I
well,
read a little bit of it.
I would say whether or not I think the manga or anime is better in general for each part goes back and forth, but I think for part 1 especially, and pretty much part 2 as well, the anime is pretty much better, just because Araki's art was a little bit weaker. Like there's like, you can find, I mean, if you've read it, you know what I mean, but there's a lot of weird poses and like he didn't know anything about anatomy, and I mean it doesn't look bad,
It's not bad. It's just
but the anime is a lot more consistent.
but you have to have the JoJo poses.
There's a point about part 3, part 4 where Araki's art is so good that you can't really do it in anime as good as as the drawings are. But I don't think that's the case, especially in part 1.
Yeah.
So I would say the anime is better, but the manga still worth reading.
The anime is good because like they look like people and not like tiny faced like giants.
Like clay, yeah, it's
it's
clay
just,
monsters.
Well, it just goes back to the fact that like he fed off of it from
Hope
Fist
no
of the
can.
Fist
Yeah, but Fist of the North Star looks good.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Araki was not. He has really went leaps and bounds in terms of his artistic
Rocky
ability.
almost looks like he traced Kenshiro half the time and then
What?
just drew a tiny little face on it.
One of the coolest parts about JoJo, to be honest, is like experiencing Araki's growth, like as a writer and an artist over time.
It blows my fucking mind whenever I see part 1 and then I see part 4 and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Even if you look at the beginning of part 4 in the manga and then the end of part 4 in the manga, it's fucking insane.
Okay, I have a question to pose.
Yep.
Would you put the mask on?
No, I wouldn't put the mask on.
That costs like every bit of humanity. You are not like human. You're just a monster basically at that point. Even at the fact of Pillarmen and like how advanced
I would
they are.
stop you from putting on the mask, Erik.
No, you
I
wouldn't.
would battle you.
Nope. You can't use them on, bastard.
Well, if I don't let you put on the mask, it doesn't matter.
I'll just use your blood to activate the mask.
Fuck you.
Even at the point like talking about it, like I wish I could like compare the mask to like even at part 4 or part 2, because like even the Pillarmen, even how like top of the food chain they are, like even at the end of cars, they become more animalistic.
I would put the mask. I don't care. I'd put the mask on, just for the sheer fact that you could live forever. I don't go outside anyway. I would live forever. I don't care.
And then he stopped thinking.
That was fucked up.
So,
I can't wait to talk about that because that's the most fucked up thing ever.
and then it happens again in part 7.
Again,
Okay.
dude.
So the last thing I have on my notes here is just the theme of part 1, which I think we all agree is your upbringing and how it affects your life and the things you do in your life.
Yeah.
Jonathan really is defined by how he was raised, and he and Dio's relationship is really...
Well, his...
He would think he would hate Dio a lot more than he does, but they did grow up together, and he holds a lot of love for Dio, I think.
Well, Dio and Jonathan's formative years are mirror opposites of each other.
Yep.
Jonathan has a loving, caring father. Dio has a drunk alcoholic.
Yeah, and neither one of them have a mother. So.
Yeah.
And
so, and just how, in terms of how your family structure around you molds who you are later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially in your formative years.
Yep.
Even through the hard times of Jonathan's life, when Dio was fucking with him, he still grew up to be like a good guy.
And
right.
And you see this a lot more later on, but in my opinion, Dio did at least hold some feeling of love towards Jonathan.
Because he constantly talks about Jonathan every time, like he refers back to his body.
Jonathan had a big influence on his life.
Yeah.
If Jonathan wasn't the way he was, to be honest, I don't think Dio would be as evil as he is.
Yeah.
Probably not, no.
And you can't really blame Jonathan for it, but that's just part of that same theme, I think. They influenced each other a great deal as they grew up together.
I think that if Dario, like, Dio could have lived with Dario for a while, but if Dario would have died earlier and sent Dio to, or just sent Dio to George, I don't think Dio would have ended up as evil as he is.
Yeah, I think it's the combination of Dio being as old as he was and then seeing Jonathan and hating him so much.
Yeah.
Really took him to the level that he was at.
But, like, Dio's, like, obviously, like, he cared for Jonathan because he almost looks sad at the end of part 1 when he, like, realized that Jonathan was dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much like, oh, my brother. It's kind of like, it's a mixture between, oh, my brother's dead and, like, that my foil is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't have Aku without Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, Aku's like, Aku just doesn't go down and kill Jack because, oh, I would lose the person
his life is defined by his relationship with Jack.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Dio and Jonathan,
Yeah.
especially in part 1.
Right.
Like, he talks about, like, Jonathan a lot and, like, how he's like, this person, like, has come to despise me so much and understand me as well, and to, like, for me to lose him, then my life as well has vanished.
Right.
So
I think Dio kind of wanted to be like Jonathan a bit and just couldn't.
yeah. I agree. And I think that it's that as weak as some parts of part 1 are, I think the relationship between Jonathan and Dio is super strong, and it's like one of the best rivalries in anything I can even think of.
Right.
Because of just the way that it really is based on their personality traits and their character, and it's grounded in their character, and it's really well done. And I think that's what makes part 1 as good as it is.
Yep.
Okay. Do we have anything else to say about part 1?
Not really.
Let me check the time here.
Kono Diada.
1 hour and 25 minutes. If that's for part 1, we are so fucked when we get to the parts where I have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
It gets.
I think the longer parts will have to break up into 2 pieces.
Well, it's just.
We might.
It's
I
just,
don't know. We might have to, like, forego articles or something on those ones just because they'll be so long.
Yeah. Don't expect articles next time. It's
Well, I don't know about next time. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about. I think we should
Yeah.
space them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, I don't know. Maybe you guys.
Well, because next week is probably going to be a Power Rangers review. Because I think Power Rangers comes out this week that we're recording this. So it's probably going to be... I think it's... Tyler, are you going to go see that with Isaac and I?
Sure.
So we're probably going to talk about Power Rangers next week.
maybe. Hopefully we can do that.
More than likely.
I do. I'm like really wanting to get a Souls cast out. I don't want anyone to
That's
bust their
like
nut.
the big one.
I don't want any to bust their nut.
That will be probably a milestone one that we do.
I do really want to get to that one, seeing as I finished fucking Bloodborne, and
Well,
I just really.
I think I would prefer to do a cast for each game.
And I've only played one.
Because I don't want to ramble on for 7 hours about all the games together.
Right. I'm trying to get at least one of the other guys to play 2 with me. I will be on the controls. You just have to sit there and talk. Stop being a bitch and play the fucking game with me.
Alright, maybe. Let's just end the podcast. I'm Tyler.
I'm Erik.
I'm Isaac.
Thanks for watching the Unproductive podcast today. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Bye.
Roundabout.